clean tea was an idea that we had in 2013, at the end of 2013, and skinny teas were on the market and tea was becoming cool. And knowing that my mum was a naturopath and a medical herbalist, I rang her and said, I want to make a skinny tea. And she said, never. So she wouldn't do it. Ethically, she wouldn't do it. And I'm so grateful that she said no. But she said, I will help you create a detox tea. And then she said, but I'd rather you sell wellness than sell skinny. And she was so right, because skinny teas are such a horrible reflection on women's body issues. So I'm so glad that we were able to make a product that that makes women feel good about themselves, not feel bad about their body image. So long story short, I rang my mum and I said, I do want to make a tea company. And then she said, why would you make a tea company when there's already so many in the world, in Australia? What makes yours, what would make yours special? And I just said, well, me. So we made 3 teas, and Mum, being a medical herbalist, she puts together the recipe for me. So she comes up with the therapy. So for example, our dream tea is peppermint, chamomile and lavender. And then she told me that's what I should use. So we ordered the product in and then we blended it until we loved the flavour, and then the dream tea was born. So we started with 3 teas in what we call our Essentials Wellness Pack, which is the detox tea, the clean tea and the dream tea. And on the 1st of December, I went to the markets. It was our first markets in Byron Bay. And it was also my husband's birthday. So he actually booked us a hotel in Byron Bay. I don't know why he didn't think we could drive. It's only half an hour, but I didn't realise that there was a reason behind it all. So he booked us a hotel in Byron. And the morning of the first market, I was so excited. And he said, get up, we're going to the lighthouse. And I thought, I don't have time for this. And we got up there for sunrise, and he proposed. It was one of the most embarrassing things that ever happened. I think there was an entire bus of an Asian tour group behind us, and everyone was taking photos, but the whales were jumping and the sun was rising and I was bawling my eyes out. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go to the markets. So we actually got one of the best positions that a casual can get, which was really unusual for the first Christmas market. We didn't even think we'd get in. And I don't know how much tea I sold that day, but I was happy. I could have cared less. I was on the phone screaming, I'm getting married! Buy my tea! And so it was one of the best days of my life. I realised that going to the markets was actually really hard on our family and my husband, and packing up the tent each week and sitting out in the elements and sometimes selling $100 worth. It wasn't worth time away from my small family and my baby. So I looked more into building the e-commerce, the website side of the business, which had done okay, but had only really had 20 orders a week each week. And was inconsistent, and I realised that I needed to do some learning. So I started attending more women in business courses, and I heard the Beach People speak about branding, and she gave me a postcard and it says, I hope all your social media dreams come true. And I stuck it next to my computer, and I promised myself that I would make my social media dreams come true, that I would find the crack to make it happen. I would do what it takes. So I contacted my good friend Karen, and she helped me design the label, and she asked me what I wanted, and I said I wanted something that was me, something fresh, something tropical, something beachy, something bright, something alive, something that wasn't dull. Tea doesn't have to be boring. Tea can be, fun and bright, and we are from one of the most beautiful tropical places in the world. Let's showcase who I am and who we could be. And we rebranded and did our first professional photo shoot at Cabarita, and there's a beautiful photo of a girl holding a box, and it just looks as though the box is coming through. So that was our sample box concept that I came up with. I thought, what better way to present people with our brand than a sample box for $20 that they could try 5 of our best-selling teas and decide if they wanted to reorder. That photo I posted on Facebook with a $20 boosted post, and it went semi-viral. So we had a 2,000% increase in sales in a week. I didn't have enough tea, I didn't have enough boxes, I didn't have enough staff, I didn't even know how I was going to ship them all, and I was off down to the post office every day sending hundreds of orders. It was the most stressful manic time of my life, and everybody I knew came to help. My mum, my mother-in-law, I even had my husband packing tea, all while the baby was crawling around on the floor, like looking after herself. So it was one of the most challenging moments of my life, though, at that point where you live off 2 hours of sleep, but you know that you've been given a gift and you have to run with it. So the one sample box that we had turned into 3 or 4 different types of sample boxes, and business kept growing. So from the 2016 to 2017 year, we saw a 2,280% increase in sales and turnover, which is just crazy. And now it's funny, it's just a number, but it was so much hard work. So desperate for help to send all this tea and to blend all this tea, I asked some of the mums from the local school where my son attended, and 3 amazing ladies came to work for me, and I couldn't promise them anything. I didn't know how long this was going to last. So they came in and very quickly helped me get everything organised, but we were quite literally every day, we would make tea, blend tea, ship tea off my kitchen bench, and then we would pack it all up and I would get my house back at the end of the day. But for a year, my whole house was tea. We had storage in the dining room, storage in the lounge room, storage in the garage, storage in the laundry. There was tea literally in every single part of our home. And we grew and we grew. I'm fortunate though that being mums and we lived near the school, we decided to be a school hours based business, and we still are, which I'm proud to say. So we start work at 9 after we drop our kids off at school, and we finish work at 2:30 in time to pick them up from school, and that won't ever change. I think family first is a really big priority, even for my staff. We can work really hard. We probably get 8 hours worth of work done in the 5 hours that we're here, but we still get quality time with our children. We're there for school presentations, sports days. If my girls say that they need a day off because someone's got an important event, that's okay, because we can always cope, juggle. I think family is really important to me as a business owner, and important that my staff can spend time with their family as well. In search of somewhere we could call Clean Tea a home that was no longer in my home, I went to Byron, which is where we started. It just seemed like the place to take it back to. My beautiful husband helped build the shop fit, and he's just done so much work to turn our what is a factory into our clean tea space. It was such a poignant turning point for us, and such a special day. So we had our first opening day on the 1st of December of friends and family, and it was a very emotional day for me, very, very emotional. Working with my mum has been absolutely wonderful. I certainly could not have done Clean Tea without her. So we've grown now from 3 teas to 47 over the 4 years, and none of them have been without her guidance. Our biggest selling tea is our Mother's Love tea, and when we first launched it, we never knew that the need for it was so strong, and it really is by far probably 60% of our sales are to new mums. So it's a breastfeeding tea for colic and wind pain, and Tiffany had silent reflux, so she was a perfect baby for me to test it on.
All of the herbs in that, they're not just stimulating milk, but they're working on an energetic level. And when I looked at it also too from a Chinese medicine point of view, and I looked through all my old books to some of our older teachers who were just wonderful herbalists, and looked at the energetics of this, because it's really important in putting a formula together, particularly when you've got babies involved, that the energy within that formula, or the synergy, just really works. So that's how Mother's Love came to be, and it's been a resounding success.
We did a small photo shoot last year, and was able to advertise a quote from a new mum, and all it says is basically, after 2 days of trying this tea, my baby is sleeping again and my baby is happy, and it's just win-win here. And we don't try to promote anything more than that with the tea. We just simply put the quote out there from another mum to other mums to let them know that if they have windy babies. And nothing fills me with greater joy than being able to look at our Facebook or our emails and women writing to us and saying that we've changed their life, and not just their life, these tiny little babies who are in agony and pain with belly pain, we're able to provide them with something natural and safe that helps them be happy. And if nothing else, if I'm ever having a bad day, I just know that we make happy babies, and there's just nothing more fulfilling than that.
True.
I've been nominated and got a position on the Australian Facebook Small Business Council, which was a huge privilege. 15 small business owners were chosen in Australia to represent small business. So we fly to Sydney every quarter to the Facebook office, and Facebook tells us what they're doing to improve Facebook for small business and what opportunities there are for small businesses. So we receive extra training, and that training I've been able to help other women in small business so that they can grow their businesses on the back of a platform that I truly believe does have quite a sense of community. This month I was nominated for the Oz Mumpreneur Awards and made top 10 in Australia for the Rising Star Award. If you don't try, you'll never know. So I can't wait to try and see, I don't care if I don't win. I was just excited to make top 10 finalist. We formed a small group of women in Pottsville in business a year ago, and it was so wonderful on International Women's Day that all of us could get together and celebrate what it is to be a woman and why we're proud to be women. And it was just such a beautiful event held at Babaloo at Kingscliff. We had 130 women attend, and Karen, my graphic designer, and I were the hosts. And honestly, it was just a day of joy and tears, and my mum was there and my mother-in-law, and so much love in the room for women and all the things that we have to do and all the hats that we have to wear as mothers, as sisters, as lovers, as entrepreneurs. It's not just about being in business, but who we are as women. And it was a beautiful day that we got to share a lot of joy, tears, and I can't wait to host next year's event as well. Lee and I both own our own businesses, so we come from a family where we are self-supported, which is tough because cash flow can be hard when you work for yourself. Lee's in construction and I'm in e-commerce, so it can be challenging at times, but we try to support each other. So I do his bookkeeping and he helps me with the kids if I've been away for work a lot this year for Facebook and in Sydney, and I've been to a lot of self-development courses over the last 18 months, so I'm really lucky that he can turn on daddy daycare when he needs to, and his mum's a great help to us too with babysitting. But yeah, having our own businesses, we kind of have to learn to work in together.
Yeah, the idea is to be a stay-at-home dad one day if possible, but it's a bit of a dream. But until then I just got to keep helping and
so no pressure, I just have to take over the world with tea.
See where it takes us, yeah.
When I was 18 and I graduated school and found out that I was pregnant the same day I got accepted into university, and had to make a decision that day not to go to university and to be a mum, and everybody told me that I ruined my life. So I became a cliche and I was determined to prove everybody wrong. So we've had our ups and downs, and I always say to my friends in business that you can't succeed without failure. So it's so crucial to get through those failures and to learn from them. And Clean Tea has been the greatest roller coaster of my life, but I'm just really lucky because every time something goes wrong I can always ring my mum, and she's my sounding board and she helps me through. So I'm very fortunate. I take great pleasure in looking at what we've built and what we have and where I've come from, that anybody can do it, that your life is not predetermined or destined and it's not ruined, that you can create anything that you want in your life.